Good morning, everybody. It's Pastor John with another edition of Monday Morning Quarterback. So yesterday I talked essentially about the difference between love and fear, and I made the case that the opposite of love is not hate, but it is fear. I even quoted the prophet Yoda in my sermon. Yoda, who said, "Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering." You see, even Yoda knew that hate is given birth by fear. So I think that if the church wants to confront the source of human sin, we must learn to confront fear, because that's the heart of hatred and a lot of the things that go on in the world. So as I was talking about, the story of King Herod, who killed John the Baptizer, and he did it because he chose fear. And I was talking about the idea of temptation. And when we think of being tempted by something, we think of sort of being seduced, if you will, seduced by sex or money or power or prestige or things like that, things that our culture holds up as valuable. And those things are tempting. But Herod had all those things. He had money, he had power, he could have sex with whoever he wanted, and often did. He had prestige, so he wasn't tempted by any of those things. What tempted Herod was his fear. His fear is what got the better of him, and that's why he killed John the Baptizer. And that's what I think we need to recognize in our own lives. What fear motivates us to do, what fear tempts us to do. Because when we operate out of a position of fear, really what we're wanting to do most of all is control our environment, to control the things that affect our lives. Fear tempts us to act out in ways that are contrary to the gospel, but that might provide us brief comfort, temporary comfort, but not real lasting comfort. As I prepare this edition of Monday Morning Quarterback, I'm aware that last night there was an assassination attempt on our former president, Donald Trump, and none of us knows anything about the motivations of the shooter at this time. All we know is that there was one bystander that was killed and two bystanders that were critically injured. And we pray for those families. But what I think that I can say with some confidence is that whatever was behind this experience, fear was at the heart of it. Fear unchecked can force us to do some horrible things. It can force us to create internment camps like Manzanar, as I referenced in my sermon. It can tempt us to try and assassinate political candidate that we may or may not agree with. It can force us to do a lot of things. So we have to remember that we as a church must learn in ourselves, but also in our ministry to others, to help replace fear with love. Because as John said in 1 John 4:18, there is no fear in love, for perfect love casts out all fear. Have a wonderful week, my friends. God bless.